Hey everybody, welcome. Today we're going to open this box of 1990 tops, not necessarily the entire thing, but I'm doing this in order to demonstrate why I believe that you will never find the Frank Thomas no name on front error card out of a box like this. Or pretty much out of any unopened 1990 tops product other than maybe random loose packs here and there. But I think when you're buying boxes like this, you will never find um, the the Thomas error or any of the other cards. Just a little bit of background, first of all. Most people know this, but not everyone knows it. There are actually 13 cards, including the Frank Thomas card, that are in what's called a partial blackless set. The Frank Thomas card happens to have his name as well as a few other regions of the card missing black ink. But there are a total of 13 cards that were part of that same run of error cards where they're all missing a little bit of black. And I'll put up an image here showing those cards. And the truth is that if the Frank Thomas exists in a tops pack, any of these other 13 cards should also exist in packs from that same run. And you can see that there are 6 All-Star cards, and then there are 7 base cards, including the Frank Thomas and a number of other players who aren't particularly nearly as high profile as Frank Thomas. Kevin Tapani had a pretty nice career, but it's immediately obvious why the Thomas card itself has gotten so much attention because obviously he's a very special player. But all of these cards are now quite valuable if they are authentic and authenticated. Really very, very valuable. And that actually brings me to why I don't believe it's possible to find these cards in products like this. Now, before I go any further, let me be absolutely clear that I am in no way suggesting that there's anything underhanded going on here. No fraud of any kind, no intentional misleading of anybody. What I think is going on are people that are carefully researching what they have and then deciding what they want to do with that product. Here's what I think is going on. I think that these cards are so valuable, the blacklist, the partial blacklist, particularly the Thomas, but all of those 13 cards, that I think if anybody has a box like this, even if it's baseball card exchange inspected and verified, as this one is, and I'll show it to you in a second, um, they're going to open it until they can find one of those 13 cards and determine um, is this from the era when the partial blacklist cards still existed, or have they already been corrected by this point? If this box came from a case, they're going to open that case enough to see what's going on. Um, Reason being that if the partial blacklist cards are in this given box, it's way better to open that box, pull out all the partial blacklists, send them off, get them authenticated and scored, and then sell them. They sell for astronomical prices, way more than what you're going to get for this unopened product on the possibility that it might contain the partial blacklist cards. So, if I, for example, if I had a 1990 Topps case sealed, I couldn't tell from the case what when it was made and whether it does or doesn't contain the blacklist. I'm going to go to Baseball Card Exchange. I'm going to crack that case open while somebody's looking at me. I'm going to take the first box out. I'm going to open it. I'm going to start to go through it. And as soon as I figure out, hey, this is or is not from the partial blacklist run, I'm going to then say either, hey, thanks guys, this is a partial blacklist case. I'm going to take it and open everything and pull out all the cards and get them authenticated because that's going to be worth a fortune. I mean, a really large amount. Or if I can verify that the cards are coming after the blacklist, partial blacklist error was corrected, then I'm going to go ahead and ask Baseball Card Exchange to verify all the rest of the boxes because I know that they do not have those premium cards, but I can still sell them at a premium. So again, I'm not suggesting that anybody's resealing anything or searching any unopened material. What I'm saying is they're going to open some material from that same case. not touch anything else, but then they're going to know what's in those, whether the blacklist cards are or not in there, and they're going to stop there and decide what to do. So, like I said, this box. Oops, sorry for bumping the camera there. This box is baseball card exchange verified. You know, it's an unopened wax box from a sealed case. It was just done a couple months ago, relative to when I'm recording this, and I have no doubt that this box is unsearched, you know, unsealed. Sorry, unresealed. I have no doubt that this box is a completely legitimate box that has not been tampered with in any way. I have no doubt that Baseball Card Exchange did their verification process correctly. I have no doubt that the owner of this box handled everything correctly. But I still don't expect that I'm going to find anything in here. And as I start to take off this plastic, you know, all you have to do is go on YouTube and look at, there are thousands upon thousands of videos of people opening this product, and nobody finds the Frank Thomas no name unless it's coming from, a random pack that was maybe found not in a box, that was, found somewhere loose where no, you can't do this kind of testing. So in a case like that, random packs, yeah, go for it. But if you're getting something like this that's a sealed product, I think you have no chance of getting one of those blacklist cards, Frank Thomas or any of the other ones. So my recommendation, if you're going to hunt for those blacklist cards, Frank Thomas in particular, buy loose packs that you have reason to believe are actually loose packs. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open some of these packs until we get one of those cards that could be a blacklist card. But once I determine if this is a blacklist box or not, then I might stop. Then I might take these packs out and sell them as loose. So they might look loose, but I know that they came from this box. I don't have to tamper with them. I don't have to do anything. I can sell them as sealed product, which they would be. I'm not going to do that because it's not who I am. But, I would be very suspicious of anything you buy out there. I think the likelihood that it contains a blacklist card is extremely low, not only because the error cards themselves are so rare, but because the chances that the pack's history and where it comes from is unknown is very low. So we're going to go ahead and just start looking at what's in these packs. And I'm not going to do any of my usual shenanigans with how I open packs. Because why? We're here for a different reason today. So we're looking for, there's a Juan Gonzalez. It's a really blurry card. Kind of hard to see on here. For some reason, the lighting looks good, but it's a pretty blurry card. So we're just looking until we find one of those 13 cards, and then we can immediately tell what's going on. Brian Downing, favorite of mine. Did you guys ever see this? It comes inside one of these things. This is an advertisement that came in these wax boxes of this era of the things that you could buy as a dealer or as a shop, where you get all these things together if you buy them together. Interesting. So we didn't get any of the 13 cards in there. It might take. It wouldn't surprise me if it took 5 or 10 packs to get there. But we shall see what we shall see. Joe Carter, Terry Poole, Thomas Sorta. Some delicious gum. Howard Johnson. David Wells, Babyface. Okay. Nothing there. Let's keep going. That's Bart Giamatti. Great spoonerism right here. Sorry, I'm gonna try to reduce the glare on these a little bit for you. Not using my regular setup here where I try to have really nice lighting. Larry Walker rookie here, ruined by the wax. A bit of wax stain there.
Hi, I'm Larry.
Lawton. Nolan Ryan. Beautiful card. I don't love these. I don't love the Topps, the 1990 design, the color scheme, but when they get it right, they get it right. It looks beautiful. All right, nothing in the first four. I mean, none of the 13 blacklist candidates. Tony Phillips, favorite. This Mike Schmidt card. Um, those of you who are familiar with my background know I have the actual 1980 card, not in a 10, but I have another version of this in a 10. I'll show it off sometime. It's I can't remember what it is. It might be like a Rite Aid card that shows a picture of this card, and I have that in a PSA 10, which is kind of funny. Todd Zeal. All right, nothing yet. Let's keep working our way through here. Rick Honeycutt on the back. Frank White, great underrated player. Randy Moyer, Jamie Moyer. He was already 46 in this photo, I believe. Cone. Winfield. Eric Plunk, traded twice for Ricky Henderson. True. Not straight up, but it is true. Dave Parker, he looks badass on so many of his cards. Greg Olson. I'm surprised we haven't found one of the 13 yet, but sooner or later, it's gonna come. Was it Rijo? Underrated. One of those guys where if he could have stayed healthy. Cal Ripken is not one of the All-Star cards. That qualifies. Printing error down there.
This is my brother Daryl.
Boy, these are some ugly photos. Ugly. Like Jay Buhner, such a great power hitter, such an interesting looking guy, and I was like such a lame, boring photo they got of him. Okay, it's got to come sooner or later. Randy, ready? I know what you're thinking. All right. So keep in mind, if this was the first box of a case, not a big deal, right? I mean, you obviously don't want to burn all these packs, but if it's a matter of finding out whether you have an incredibly valuable box or just a, not valuable box, worth doing. Brian Dubois, Brian Meyer. Wally Wackman. At least we're not getting lots of doubles. I don't know if we've had any doubles yet. I suppose this has to be a posed shot, but I always thought it was pretty cool. All right, this is also a posed shot, and clearly, and somewhat less cool. He doesn't have his chest protector or anything. It's a little hard to believe. Greg Maddux, Gary Thurman looking a little cross-eyed there, which it's how he looked in most of his photos. I don't know what the story is with that. I think that's just how his eyes were. All right. Still not getting there yet. Jeff Montgomery, Joe Baver, Herbert Puckett. Some delicious gum. Listen to this. Yeah, that's the sound you want your gum to make. Well, we're already about a third of the way into this box. I wouldn't have thought we'd have to open this many packs. The odds certainly would have suggested we would have found a card, one of the cards by now, but no such luck yet. Mike Jackson, underrated. He was a great player, great pitcher. Rick Hatteray also traded for Ricky Anderson. He's Grissom, a hot rookie back then. You guys remember Mariano Duncan once hitting a bunt double? He actually bunted it over the infield on purpose. Just amazing. He was a pretty good hitter, pretty talented with the bat. Edgar Martinez. R.I.P. Dwight Smith. Lance McCullers' dad. Carlton Fisk now, his all-star card is one of the 13, but not his base. Rich Monteleone. Chet Lemon, one of my favorites. And Mark Davis all-star card is not one of the 6 all-star cards. All right, keep going. Andre Dawson, some gun on him there. Whitaker should be on the Hall of Fame. Clark. There's the Dawson. Kevin Mitchell, again, not one of the ones we're looking for. Deion Sanders rookie card. Going on to Shields rookie. A beautiful card. The pink doesn't really, pink and the green don't go, right? I mean, they just don't go, but it's a nice card. Imagine how great this card would look if this pink were the red that matched the Expos logo and this green were, was that blue. This would be an unbelievably beautiful card. Closer to this, but I mean, even this one has pink. But you can just see how much nicer than Nelson Santovenia is. But again, if you replace, I think if you put the dark blue around the outside and make this hot pink, the red, whatever, I think it would look amazing. I'm encouraged that we at least haven't had a lot of doubles. Sooner or later, we are going to pull one of the 13. Ernie Witt, Hubie Brooks, Luis Quinones, Billiquist, Schooler, Patterson, LaValliere, Nolan Ryan. Beautiful card. Not one of the ones we're looking for. Ben McDonald. Really blurry card. I don't know if you can see how poor the printing is. If you compare it there to the card next to it, you can see it's really fuzzy around the name. All right.
Spike.
Lemons. Let's see. This is an example of the colors are pretty close, right? This is kind of a purpley blue, but it's still pretty close. Really nice card. Really nice color on this card. That's what that Delano DeShields card could have looked like. I didn't know until fairly recently that this was supposed to be comic book style. That's what these borders are supposed to be. I think if I had known that at the time, I would have liked these a little bit more. But I still think the cards could have been color choices could have been better. Now we're like halfway through this box and haven't found one. But also haven't seen any doubles yet, I don't think. I don't think we've seen a single double card yet. Billy Hatcher's looking awfully depressed there. Jeff Ballard, not one of the ones we're looking for. And this is a beautiful card, right? I mean, you look at how they did white, yellow, and green. They did the A's colors. Look how beautiful it is. They could have done that with all these cards. I mean, it's the same with Topps with all these years. With 88, 89, and 90 for sure. They did a few teams where they color matched, and all the rest of them they didn't. So a few of the team cards look awesome, and the rest look, kind of like super ugly. Oh, we got mixed up here. Still likes pulling. Still like pulling the junior. I am shocked how long we have to look here. R.I.P. Steve Olin. Shocked that we haven't found one of these 13 yet. I'd have to look and do the math, but it's really unlikely. Although there is obviously a correlation because it's possible. I mean, the 13 cards obviously all come from the same sheet, clearly, obviously. Possible that that sheet is just not in this box, right? And that could also be a case of where the seller knows that, and so they just go ahead and get this stuff verified and sell it, knowing full well that it's not going to be in there. I always think Dale Murphy's missing his bat. It's like invisible. Albert Bell. Yeah, so I mean that's possible, but that sheet, the sheet that has those cards just is not in the box. But we got to open the whole thing. We're going to open the whole thing. What can I tell you? Ike Horn, super underrated pitcher who I just love. Kevin Brown. There's Doc. Vance Law. Abbott, who by this point had already had a card in the in '89, obviously. Okay, Jim Acker. He is one of the 13. So let's take a look. We need to go no further. So take a good close look at this card. The region where you would be missing the black ink is right down here. And I'm gonna just talk for a minute, but I'm gonna put the image back up on the screen here, showing you where that would be. It's actually the Frank Thomas card is right to the left, just to the left of it. And so the swath of missing black ink comes across like this, and it would be down in just this very, very lower corner, the black borders that are around right where my thumb is would be missing. The black lines that are around those blue bars wouldn't be there. So not a blacklist box, period. There is no reason to open the rest of these thinking, oh, we might find a blacklist card. We're not going to. Now, I'm not going to resell these, but the idea that somebody might think they might contain these, so I'm going to go ahead and open them anyway. But and if we, hopefully we'll pull another blacklist now that we know that the sheet is in this box, and demonstrate it. But this is the point at which if I had a case like 23 more of these unsealed, I go ahead and get them certified and sell them. Hey, maybe they're blacklist. Who knows? Well, I know they're not. You don't have to tamper with them or anything like that. But this is why I don't think you're ever going to get a product like this. That's going to be legit. Well, let me take that back. I sort of distracted myself. It's legit. Again, it's not tampered with. It's not searched. It's not anything like that. But people know whether it is or is not blacklist. All right. And maybe we'll go until I get another one of the blacklist 13, partial blacklist, Don Mattingly. And then I might just save the rest of these for my my daily shorts, my regular now batting series. Brett Butler has so many cards where he's bunting. Looks great. Roberto Keller looking super nonchalant. Dante Bichette. Nope, card's falling over here. The Gary Sheffield, which you already had a Future Stars card in the 89 Tops, so I don't think anybody really cared about this one. There's a weird card backwards in here.
That's my other brother, Daryl.
Darrell Evans, so underrated. I still don't think we've seen a single double in this box. It's a beautiful box from that regard. What do we got here? It looks like we got 12 packs left. So let's see how many more of these we have to open. Pretty amazing from a collation perspective. No doubles, right? We're 2/3 of the way through the box. Haven't seen a single double card. That's good collation. More really badly printed cards. It's tough to see on here, but again, very, very and this is one. Very, very tricky. So the Craig Biggio is actually one that's immediately to the left of the Frank Thomas. And would be a huge swath of missing black ink across this if this were the partial blacklist card. Actually, incredibly obvious, much easier to see than the Jim Acker that we were looking at. See on this one. So indeed, definitely not a not a partial blacklist box. There's no question about it. So that the Frank Thomas card on the sheet is right in between these two. You see these borders of the same color borders that are on the Frank Thomas, and again the blacklist area goes up down like this, so it goes down all the way across Frank Thomas's name, clips the corner of this card down here, and gets about half of that card. So it's not a blacklist box, folks. That's all I've got to say. I'm gonna leave the rest of these packs, and I'll open them a little bit. I'll open them on my daily shorts. I'm now batting, and I don't really know what to conclude. Like I said, I think that buying this product, you have no chance of getting any of those blacklist era cards. I recommend that you don't buy them. And if the packs are loose, then you obviously don't know if they've been searched or not searched or whatever. But you actually have a better chance, I think, of getting them out of there randomly. I'd look for 1990 packs at flea markets and things like that. Somebody that had half a box of them in their attic and they don't know what's what. Those are the packs that are most likely to actually contain something because they haven't already been, had neighboring packs or neighboring boxes in the same case open, so people know what's what. So hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. Have a good one.